Well, hello. I am live and ready for another fun-filled Tuesday afternoon demo. I'm going to wait just a second here while people come on. If anybody's out there, uh, give me a comment. Okay, let's see here. Hey, Carol. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, all right, so things are working. All right. All righty. Let's see here. I got a lot of junk in my way here. All right, so today we're going to make a pair of dangly earrings, which the name was inspired from my partner in crime, Deb Henretty, and she likes to call me Mrs. Dangles. So I'm dedicating this pair of dangly earrings to her. Hey, Deb, you are on time. All right, so these are the earrings that we're going to do. And I would suppose that you could do these in different ways if you wanted. This was just an idea that came up to me um, about putting the holes, kind of like Swiss cheese, in the discs. And I originally didn't think about putting these as dangles. I was going to put these other things on here. I wanted to do like a positive and negative space kind of thing. And I wanted to use the discs that I punched from these circles here, or from these discs here. And I tried making some things out of the negative space, or positive space, I should say, the pieces that I punched out. And I put them on. I wasn't sure if I really liked them or not. So I was just kind of playing around with different seed beads and variations that you could add for danglies if you wanted to do that. That's kind of what I had in mind when I originally did this. But I wasn't sure if I really liked them like that. So I just decided to do the the paddle dangles instead. But you certainly could do different little things like this if you wanted to. So it's just, however your mind works and what looks good to you, you can certainly play around with those. So they don't have to be just like this, they can be a variation. And also, as far as the hole placement, had I thought about it sooner, I would have made them opposite as far as how I place the holes. But it's just an aesthetic thing. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I think the next pair that I'm going to do, I'm going to try to, um, make an opposing pair, put it that way. I'm not sure. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. So that's what we're going to do today. Yeah, you're right, Deb. I always tell people that if your earrings hang a little bit differently or whatever, and somebody notices that, they're too close and they need to back off. So that's kind of uh, my reason, or my explanation for that. So okay, so these are how these are going to be. Let's see, and they dangle very nicely. They're kind of fun. And I think there's lots of room for, like I said, variation as far as I use textured metal on here. You don't necessarily have to use that. You could have it just plain, or you could stamp a little bit of detail on there if you wanted to. It's just totally up to you. Hi, Susan. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Tammy. Good. Yeah, Deb, that's always how it's been all my life. You know, when you talk to somebody new, they're not looking at your face, they're looking at elsewhere. So, you know what I mean. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Pat. Okay. Yeah, they could be, Pat, they could be square as well. So, you know, you could do triangular, uh, lots of different possibilities. Okay. All right. So, let me put this out of the way. All right. And I'll tell you a few things of what you'll need for this project. And I find that a circle template is a handy thing to have. If you don't have one already, I would imagine many of you do, but if you don't, this is a really nice thing to add to your toolbox. That, and I am going to be using a pair of hole punch pliers. You don't have to have these particular ones. You can use, where is it? A regular 2-hole punch if you have that, but I would use the 1/16 end to make your holes in here. Um, okay, so that's another option. And also you can use these punch pliers come in a whole bunch of different sizes, but you can use either the 1.5 millimeter or the 1.8 millimeter. What I'm going to be using these for is for 18 gauge 4 millimeter jump rings. So they either one of these sizes fit those 18 gauge wire. All right. Hey, Susan. The gauge, Deb, is I'm going to be using, I think this is 22. You could either use 20 or 22. It just depends on, I like my earrings to be lightweight, so I would say more than likely this is 22. But you could get away with 20 if you have it. I don't know about 24. 24 seems a little thin, but you could probably use that as well. Okay, so what I have here is the textured metal. I also have 14 gauge copper wire. Make sure when you buy your wire, and you probably already know this, to get bare copper wire, not the natural. You need to get bare. If you have the choice, get the bare copper wire. I know Artistic Wire. I get a lot of that wire from them, and the natural, which looks just like this, has some type of a coating on it. So when you go to patina it doesn't accept the patina like the bare copper wire does. Okay, but I think like if you got your wire from a hardware store or something like that, I'm sure it will be the bare copper wire. Okay, all right, so you need that. You need a disc punch if you don't have one already to do this particular project. You, I'm using my Swanstroms today, but I generally use my older Peppy for most disc cutting jobs that I need because it's old, it's reliable, and I don't mind using it. Um, but there are limitations, more limitations with this one as far as putting metal inside. Uh, and my point is you can only, let's see here, you can only insert the metal so far in this area, in this particular uh, shape. But I know the new Pepe disc cutters are round, similar to the Swanstrom now. So if you have that, uh, I would use that. I just find some limitations in putting in, and you'll see, I'll try to show you the example when I'm doing the project. of what exactly I mean by that. Okay. I have too many words in my head, too many things to think about. All right, let's see here. All right. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Marianne and Gail. Okay. Oh, good. We have a nice little gathering of friends here. All right. You need wire cutters, a couple of pairs of flat nose pliers, chasing hammer. You will need a dapping block. I like this particular dapping block, but I do have one that's a little bit smaller, and that would be okay if you have that. Sometimes I find when the discs are small that you're using, you need to have smaller wells in here. And, you know, the metal block, you could use that if you wanted to. But I think when you have textured metal, that the wood is a little bit kinder also. So, you know, it doesn't, you're less likely to smash out your design with the wood as opposed to a metal disc. Hey, Ann. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, the thing, you can choose whatever size holes you want. You of course they have to fit in the area that you've got to work with here. And I think on this one, well, on this one I made one hole a little bit larger. But then I got to thinking maybe more holes is kind of cool too. But there again, that's just a design choice. You can kind of play with that, um, you know, however you want. You just have to be careful not to go and punch uh, too close to the edge because you're going to go through. This one is dangerously close to the edge, but it didn't break through, but it's very close. So when you line this up in the disc punch, you really have to take care that you aren't going over the edges. All right, so I guess the first thing I'm going to do is draw my circles for the holes that I want. Reminds you of the screen? Yeah, I can see how that would. All right, so there's lots of different circle templates on the market. Just make sure if you get one that you have a nice variety of sizes. Some of them I've seen are just the larger holes, but you want to make sure you get smaller holes included in your template. So you have a lot more designing capability. Now, the size disc that I used for this project is a 7/8. So I'm just going to put my, oh, I've got to move my computer a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put my disc, or put the template on top of the disc and just take a Sharpie and make my circle that way. And on the original design, where is it? I've got the hanging hole, and then I've got 3 little holes down here for the dangles. So you want to factor that in. And you know me, I eyeball most everything. And I use this this cutting board or cutting disc, whatever, or not disc, but this cutting pad. It's like a craft thing. A lot of people use it for sewing. It's got all the 1-inch squares all over it. It's kind of nice to line stuff up with it. So I use that more than anything as far as lining stuff up. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie and mark where I want my hanging hole, and then I'm going to go exact opposite, or down below I should say, for my little holes on the bottom. And I'm going to put this, line up my ruler with the hanging hole here. I'll go a little bit lower than that. And then I just take two, I don't know what you want to call them. I'm terrible with fractions and millimeters and all that crap. So I just take the 1 inch guide right there, and then I go over 3 little lines on either side, so that way it's nice and even. All right, that just shows you how math challenged I am. All right, so then I am going to use, let's see, this is quarter. This is the 1/4 inch disc punch for that I'm going to make the holes with. So I'm going to go to 1/4 circle on my template and just kind of line that up and make my circles. Like that. And then I'm going to put a couple of the 1/8 inch holes in here too. All right, so then I have my holes like that. Okay. All right. Are you guys having trouble with the broadcast? Let me know if there's any problems. Donna, did it straighten out? I hope. Any other guys that are watching, is it okay? All right, well, let's hope that it works out all right. All right, so I'm going to take my disc cutter and I am going to cut out the 7/8 inch disc. Now this is, okay, all right, great. Thank you. This is where you could do it 2 different ways. You could either stamp out this 7/8 inch circle, or you could just cut around the metal and leave a little bit of edge around it if you're going into the rectangular cutter like this. Because of the alignment of these things, you'd have to be pushing your disc in where you can't really reach it. It would actually be pretty darn hard. If you put a disc in here, say if you have your circles drawn like this, and you try to put your disc in these places, you can't really reach them, if you understand what I'm saying. So when you have the circular disc cutter, it's much simpler to have access to get perfectly on those circles where you want to cut out. So do you understand what I mean on that? I hope. Okay. Well, I'm going to cut out my 7/8 inch round here. I want to make sure that I'm all even. So I've got that in there. And then I'm going to take my punch. This is the one, okay. So I'm going to just put some lube on here. All right. Put that on there. And now I'm going to bang I'm going to make some loud noise here. All right, bear with me here. Right. Once you feel it break through, stop pounding, because otherwise you're going to mar the surface of your metal with the metal edge of this. Hey, Wendy. Okay. All right, so now I've got the disc, and now I just have to make the small holes. Jennifer, did you do this one already, the project? Yeah, it's a lot more difficult when you are using the other disc cutter, if you cut it off and not leave it like a little square like this. This way you can maneuver. You've got something to hold on to when you're placing your disc. Oh, Pat, you're following along for the first time? Okay. The screen goes to solid green every 10 seconds, just for a second. Huh. I don't know. It might be just a glitch in either Facebook or with our connection. I really don't know. Oh, Cindy, that's a great idea. She's got the packing tape trick. Make a handle long enough to stick in the cutter, sandwich metal between the tape. Messy getting tape off, but it works. That's a great idea. I'll have to try that. Whatever makes sense. It's like whatever's easier and makes sense, go for it. All right, so I'm going to line up my holes. This is where good lighting helps, because you have to be able to see in there, and you might need to play with positioning it a little bit. And then I tighten up my disc punch, and I'm doing the 1/8 inch hole right now. Whoop, I want to put this underneath there. All right, so I've got one, and then I'm going to move over to the 1/4 inch hole. I hope I don't have my head in the camera there. All right, so now the 1/4 inch. I keep forgetting things that are important. Move that up a little. All right, that's one. Line this up here. See, it's easy to grab on this circular disc cutter because these are right along the edge. But if you don't have that, like I said, you can figure out ways to make it work. And the tape trick that Cindy was just talking about sounds pretty good. All right. Keep moving along, making my little piece of Swiss cheese here. And one more. Okay. So now I'm just going to add the hanging hole here, and then the 3 little dangle holes at the bottom there. And I want to make sure that I'm straight because, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to use do I have here? I'm going to use the 1/8 millimeters or 1.8 millimeters punch plier. I'll make my holes and then I'll stop and see if there's any other questions. Okay, so I've got my holes all punched. You can see that. Okay, Pat, the little holes that I'm cutting out are the smallest ones here are the 1/8 inch disc cutting punch and the 1/4 inch disc cutting punch. But you can use whatever size you want. You just have to kind of plan it out with your template. I've got a little bit of my Sharpie marker on here. Let me get that off of there. Okay. So then the next thing is I want to make the next earring to match this. And I would go ahead and cut my disc. It doesn't matter too much where you line it up with your texture because you're really not going to be seeing too much texture once you get all these holes made. But what I'm going to do with this one is cut the disc first and then trace my holes with my with the one I just did. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm just going to take this one and line it up. I'm going to hold on to it and just mark where I want my holes. Much easier for the second one, much quicker. Okay. So make sure you put the right end in because some of these, like this one, would be very easy to turn it upside down and hit it by mistake. So the cutting end always has a little bit of an angle on the bottom. That's where it's going to cut, or start the cut, I should say. All right. And if they're not exactly the same, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just how precise you want to be, I suppose. All right, now we'll go to the 1/4 inch circle. I'd like to get the newer Peppy disc cutter, but I can't really justify it since this older model still works real well. But just for the ease of having the round feature, that would be nice. The last 1/4 inch one. All right, and now just punch my holes here. The hanging hole up at the top. Ooh, why is that one tough? These do lose their these little punches here. Now, why won't that go through? This is loose. Well, that's very strange. I think I've lost my edge on that, the cutting edge. Let's try the other pair. Duh. Okay, who knows why? I think I need to replace this little thing. They sell these little replacements, little punchy things. Uh, I'll have to look online for those, but they do wear out. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just check here. Okay, Jennifer, put holes on back so it will be an opposite. Yeah, you could absolutely do it that way. Yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about the Swanstrom is it has one size larger than the Pepe does. This is an inch, and then this is an inch and a quarter, so you can get a larger thing. But there are more of the smaller one, smaller punches, as Jennifer points out. So, in a perfect world where you could have like endless, limitless amounts of money, it'd be nice to have one of each. Oh, that's a good idea too, Jennifer. She says you can sharpen with sandpaper dedicated to steel too. Okay, good to know. All good things to know. All right, so I'm going to just give this a quick sand on the back. It doesn't really need it where the disc cutter worked, but where the little hole punch, the plier punch, it's a little bit rough back there. So I'm just going to give this a little sanding on the back, just so that there's nothing sharp on there. It really needs minimal sanding on the back. This one's a little ragged because that's the one that I was having trouble with. So if you can, sometimes you can just, there's like a little burr on the back and you can just kind of nip that off with your pliers. Okay, so then these are good, except I'm going to curve them a little bit. I'm going to dap them in the smaller bowl. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a curve. I put them face down. I always hit it first in the center, and then I kind of walk the pestle thing around a little bit, so that way it gets nice and even on all sides, that it's not warpy at all. But just enough, just a little bit of a curve. If you were to put this in a metal dapping block with the metal punches, you may distort those holes actually pretty easily. So that's that so far. Looks pretty good. So now we're going to make our dangles. And for that, I'll put this aside. Too many things in my way, making a mess. Clean up some of this stuff here. Just bear with me, folks. I normally can work in chaos pretty well, but when I'm trying to show you guys stuff, I need to have it where I can find it. All right. I also have my pickle pot going. Not my pickle pot. I have a cup warmer with hot water and liver of sulfur at the ready for when we need that. All right. And maybe you can find some fun little thing to do with these little cutouts. All right, so now we'll make the dangles. Get all this junk out of my way. All right. Yeah, the video looks a little bit fuzzy. I don't like that. Okay. All right, so you can make the dangles however long or short you want. That's totally up to you. I'm just showing you what I did, and then you can take it from there. I have a short neck, so having really long earrings is kind of weird for me, but this is about as long as I would go. And I've got on the handout what I used for my particular earrings, and my lengths, I should say, is I took, and you can measure it out if you want. What did I take? Let's see here. I cut I did mine in millimeters. So I did like 24 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and 6 millimeters. So basically 6 millimeter difference between the three of them. But you can do, like I said, whatever you want. I'm going to just do it off of a ruler right now. And I will do 1.5. I'll do 1.5. Cut that little point off. And I just do it this way to make it easier for me. I just line up the second one and just bring my pliers right up to the end of the one that's cut. I've got my two 1.5 inch there. Cut off the little point here. And then, let's see here. I'm going to go about maybe 1.25. But that's totally, the size or length is totally up to you. Do the second one here. And this one, I think, was an inch. I don't know. I'm going to do just a skosh less than an inch on this one. All right, so I've got my 6 pieces. And this is 14 gauge round copper wire. You got to get your potty break in before the demo, Deb. Honestly. Okay. All right. So I have 3 different sizes. Like that. All right. So now comes a little bit of a dicey part, and that is where we're going to hammer these out. And the only thing is you want to try to keep your wire nice and straight. If you can, it will bend as you are pounding on it. It is just the nature of the beast. If you're really afraid of pounding your fingers, you can use a ring clamp, or you can just hold your wire with your one finger and start to pound it. Now, I'm just trying to pound this a little bit flatter than and get kind of the roundness out of it, just with the flat end, and then I'm going to hit it with the ball peen end. But the wire starts to bend, and as soon as you see it start to bend, I put it on its side on the bench block and kind of hit it to straighten it out. Now, I want to make a paddle on the end of both of these, on both ends of this wire. So I need to hit it, but I'm also kind of pulling it and stretching it as I'm hitting it, and that stretches out that paddle a little bit. It's really kind of hard to see what I'm doing, but that's what I'm trying to do, is hit it and kind of pull it. And that kind of, just widens that wire out a little bit. Okay, let's see here. So I'm just holding on with my thumb here. But if you're not comfortable with that, like I said, you can use a ring clamp and put your wire in there. And then that way you can hit it and not worry about smashing your fingers. The goal is to widen this enough so that you can get that punch plier in there and make a little hole in there. So it doesn't have to be too terribly wide, just wide enough that you can make the hole without going off the edge of the wire. All right, so you You can, I'm also going to make some little texturing on here. Turn this back over so I can paddle out my end. Okay. Now that's curving quite a bit right over here. So I'm going to hit it a little bit on its side, put the wire on its side on the block. And that's not going to really take off that curve. It's just, I'm just straightening out the wire. What's going to help is to take your file and round those edges off. You could also do this on your flex shaft with a pumice wheel. Makes real short work of it. And honestly, I don't mind if the paddles are a little bit wonky. I think it kind of gives more of a, well, I don't want to say a whimsical look, but it just gives it a, I don't know, more handmade look. This is not made, they're not stamped from a machine or anything. We're doing this all by hand. So you can round these out as much or as little as you want. I just want to make sure that I don't have any sharp edges where I'm going to get poked with the metal. So that's my longest one. I wanted to flatten it out a little bit more. Actually, I think that might be a little too long for my liking. I might want to trim that down a bit. Let's compare it to the one I already did. Oh yeah, much longer. I'm going to get rid of some of that. All right, so I'm going to cut off the end that I don't like the most. And we'll try that again. So I'd say 1.5 inches, at least in my opinion, is too long for me. But if you have a neck like a gazelle, you could probably pull that off quite nicely. You really can shape these much better with the flex shaft, honestly. In fact, I think I will. Let's see here. Put on a little disc here. Or, yeah, there we go. I should have my mask on, but I don't, because I'm only doing this for a quick second. All right, that's a little better. Okay, so then I'm still a little bit crooked here. All right. Then going to take. You should probably mark this with a Sharpie, but I'm not. There we go. So you get your little hole in there. Hey, Anne-Marie. Okay. All right, so I'm going to repeat that. I'll get my shorter length here. The next one up. This is the 14 gauge round copper wire. All right. Let's go crook it a little bit. So on my side here. That straightens it right out. Okay. And I'd say you could futz on this a little bit more than I am right now. I'm just basically showing you how I do it. You can take your time with yours. Put my punch pullers. Go. Put a little. Make sure you line it up so that you're not gonna go over the sides or the edge. I mean, that one I bent a little, but I can straighten that out. I bent it when I was pulling it off. Okay. All right, so that's 2. That second one is really kind of long compared to the. Well, I'm going to be cutting that one down too, I see. You got to be happy with them. The bottom one doesn't have to be paddled quite as wide if you don't want to be, because you don't have to worry about punching a hole in the bottom one. Okay, I like this one much better. Okay. Yeah, that gives a little bit more size difference. And the little one, this little guy I am going to put in here because it's so short, it'd be easy to smash your fingers. Did you know you're supposed to hold your chasing hammer with the bulb end of the hammer in your hand? It gives you more leverage when you strike. Just a little FYI. flatten this down a bit. I'll probably have to cut this one down too since I cut the others. Let's see. Yeah, because it turns out this is almost the same size as the second one. Let's flatten this out or straighten this out a little bit. And I guess I'll cut off this end over here. I don't know about that, Cindy. Maybe. I can try and stick a piece through and see what happens. But I think you're going to, I don't know. I was going to say, I think you could leave a mark, but you're going to texture it anyway, so maybe that doesn't matter. All right. Yowza, that gets hot. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to punch my hole in this one. And there again, on the backs of these, they can be a little bit sharp with the from the hole punch. These two are all right. This one seems a little sharp. And just file that to where it's smooth. Okay, so we have all these parts for one earring. And I think maybe I'll just complete the one while we're live here. And I can do the other one later, unless you want me to complete the second one right now. Okay. All right, so I will need to cut these down though, because I cut off. Seems like I cut off more than that. Well, I'll just finish this one, and then you'll get the whole idea so that you can complete both of yours. Now I've got a little pan here. Okay, let's see here. Got my liver of sulfur. I don't need a whole lot. I'm just rinsing off the top of that. I hate when you get that stuff on you. Okay, rinse that off. And that's nice and smelly. Put my pieces in there. Hey, Suni. All right, this won't take long at all. Oy. Too much crapola. All right, That's nicely patinaed. Easy enough. I'm rinsing them. And now, what do I do with my steel wool? Oh, I dropped it on the floor. All right. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So now these are pretty simple to make, really. Doesn't take all that long. Just clean this all off. The excess. It's pretty amazing. I love liver of sulfur. It stinks, but it sure does a nice job. Make sure you get around the edges too of the disc. And then the little paddles. Don't get too aggressive with the steel wool or you'll take all your patina off. You guys getting ready for the holidays? I've done like 0. But we have a very small family, so it won't take long to pull things together. All right, so I've got that cleaned off. All right, and let's see here. Now I'm going to get some jump rings. I already have my jump rings patinaed or patinated. I don't know what's the right way to say that, but they already have the stuff on them. So, and where are my ear wires? Here they are. I like to get niobium ear wires when I'm working with copper. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Sorry, I had the camera still pointed the wrong way. Okay, I generally use niobium earrings or ear wires when I make copper earrings. Sometimes I'll put silver wires on, depending if I have a combination of metals. I don't think it matters anymore. It used to be where everything was just, if you worked in one metal, you stayed in that one metal. But I don't think it really matters anymore. All right, so I've got 18 gauge wire made 4mm jump rings. And I'm going to add a paddle. Make sure your jump rings are closed nice and snug. And I have steel wool that's stuck to my pliers, which I hate. Steel wool is great, but it gets all over the place. All right. And I'm going to put the longer one in the middle. You can do that however you want. You can arrange the lengths however you want. Just make sure you get the hammered side sticking out. The front side, I should say. And I would put these in the tumbler before I put the ear wires on, just because these are already purchased earrings. ear wires, I mean. But I would put that, give it a little spin in the tumbler for a little while, uh, just to, I would say, settle that patina, the liver of sulfur, so it doesn't come off on anybody's skin or whatever. I'll make sure that they're nice and clean. And then for the hanging wire, hanging hole, you need to put two jump rings in so they fall the right way. And voila, it is a dangly earring. And that really didn't take that long to do that. So, what do you guys think? Is it something you're going to try? I hope. I don't know. I think they're kind of fun. I wish I had the neck of a gazelle. I don't. I have a little chubby neck, short. But I like them a lot. I think they're quite fun. And like I said earlier, you can swap them out. This is the other pair, or the other one from the other pair. I've got different holes cut on those. They'd look great in sterling. They would be kind of fun, and I would think not too terribly expensive to make. They'd be really cute. Um, and like I said at the beginning, if you wanted to put little danglies, you can change the look entirely by putting different little things on like that and hook them on. So what I did for these is I took a 2-inch head pin and I cut off the head pin, or the head of the head pin, and made a wire loop, just looped it over there, hung my little dangly thing on there, and then just put some little 11O seed beads on here. And yeah, 11O. You could probably use different things. It just depends on what you've got in your stash, but it changes the look quite a bit, to have those different ones on there. But you could certainly do that if you wanted to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they're fun, Cindy. They're they're however you want to be. However you want to make them. You know, you can go long or short. Hang different things on there. You could hang little charms on there, maybe, or beads. Other kinds of beads if you wanted to do that. I think your opportunities are pretty not limitless, but I think you could have a lot of choice or variety in making these if you wanted to do that. So yeah, I didn't figure I'd do the second earring unless you wanted to see me repeat those steps, but you can also replay what I've already done if you wanted to do that. And on that note, I want to um, encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it in the group afterwards when I'm done, because that way, I mean, you don't have to subscribe to it, but it would be nice. But all of my prior demos are listed on there now. So if you have a hard time finding a particular demo in the group, you can go to the YouTube page and you can see all of them there. So that's kind of a handy thing because, like I said, Facebook isn't reliable in saving these things anymore. So, I try to copy the demos when I'm done, put it on a backup hard drive, but also putting it on YouTube enables you guys um, to find me there, for any of the things and play it back as you want. The only thing I would say is to any new people is there is not the live connection on the YouTube videos. So, but at least you see the steps and I talk to you, but there's no back and forth banter at all on there. And sometimes I address questions um, live, and then you're going to see that on the YouTube, and it's like, what's she talking about? So anyway, I just think that that's a good option for you guys to be able to have the videos handy. Um, I have another fun project, at least I think it's fun for next time. I'm going to make some hoop earrings in sterling using pattern wire. Let me see if I have them close by. I should have them, but should doesn't mean I will. Because I was working on. Oh, here they are. Yeah, these are. I think you'll enjoy. Now, this is just my take on hoop earrings. I didn't learn how to do these from anybody, but it's just kind of what I figured out. These silver hoop earrings, little wire earrings. So if this is something you think you might like to do, here's a smaller size. You can make them whatever size you want, really. If this is something you think you'd like to do, you might want to order some pattern wire from Rio Grande. Uh, they have lots of nice choices. I would get one that's not too super heavy, but I'll try to remember to put the item number from the Rio website for this particular pattern wire. So that this is something I've had on my mind for a while to do, and they're kind of fun, and they don't take that much wire. But I would recommend if you're going to buy a length of wire, you'd probably want to get at least a foot of wire because the smaller ones take about 3 inches of wire, and I think the larger ones were about 4 inches of wire. And you don't want to cut it too close, buying too much wire, or you can never have too much wire. Silly me, what am I saying? But you don't want a lot of waste either. So, yeah, these look really nice on too. So that's what we'll do next time. And then I have to look at the calendar because I don't know. I might take like a 1 week extra break or something off around the holidays, but without looking at the calendar, we might be just right on schedule for every other week. So who knows? It seems like there was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't think of it right now. Um, but we'll be back 2 weeks from today. Like I said, wait, here's my Potter calendar. It is, it will be the 20th, December 20th. I think we'll fall right in line with just staying on course every other week. Look at my new little donkey pin. Isn't that cute? I've been so bad lately. I've been on eBay a lot, buying little things that I don't know. I shouldn't probably do it, but what the hell? Life's too short. So I've been trying to find. Well, I saved national parks souvenir spoons, and I found quite a few lately that I just couldn't live without, and also found some really neat pins. Um, Other than my little donkey, I found some neat pins too. So I've been having fun with that before Elle takes my credit card away, like that would happen. Anyway, all right, you guys. I will see you in 2 weeks. We'll do hoops. I will put the handout in the group in a few minutes. And also load this on YouTube, although you can still find it in the group under media in videos. You can find it there. And I also will have some links for Amazon for where you can get some of the products that I'm using today. And if you don't have them, why not get them? Get them through Amazon. It's easy. I don't link to things that are really super expensive. Um, and if you can't find them there, I'm sure you can find them at some other supply places, jewelry supply places. All right, so I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, but I will talk to you on the website or on the group page, I should say that. Uh, Hopefully daily, but who knows? It's crazy, crazy time of year. So thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Bye bye.